disintegrate. Is it time to celebrate? Ooh, help me think of what to say. Will I die before I dance? Is this science or is it romance?
Welcome back to Create, Nourish, Move. We are here to talk to you today about sleep. Yes, this is how we sleep, if you're wondering, with Pinto in our bed right next to me. And we snuggle and Romain goes in the corner.
That's usually how it happens.
I'm kidding. But sleep is so important. We know that. But why? There's so many reasons. But first of all, it affects our social interactions. It affects our relationships. It affects the way our emotional well-being and our stability. So we need to get good sleep. It helps our immune function. There's so many studies that show just a little bit of a lack of sleep can really affect your immune system. You can get a cold more easily. You can get sick. And especially this time of year, as it gets colder out, we don't want that.
We heard that dogs sleep very long time a day, especially because they have a terrible quality of sleep. So they always on alert, ready for any danger to occur, happen or something. So this is exactly what we don't want to do. So we're going to give you a few tips, what works for us to have quality sleep.
Something I find really important when trying to get good sleep is to have consistency in the time that we sleep. So this week's challenge on our channel, on our Instagram, is to go to bed early and wake up early. So we're going to bed around 10 p.m. and trying to wake up at 6:30. And I really find that when you sleep, when you go to sleep during that earlier time of night and wake up earlier in the morning, I have more energy. I sleep better and more fully through the night. And I think that's because when we sleep consistently, same time every day, our body knows our routine. So when we sleep, our blood cells are repaired, our body's cleansing itself. And when we go to sleep at 2 in the morning and sleep until 12, and then the next day we go to bed early and wake up early and it's inconsistent, it's like the janitor's coming to clean the school or store and you're like, oh, no, I'm still open. Come back tomorrow. Oh, no, I'm still open. Come back tomorrow. And then the janitor never comes cleans. Everything gets all bogged up and dirty. We never get that deep enough sleep consistent. What?
Cleaning?
Yeah, we never get the deep enough consistent sleep to get the deep cleaning. And when we keep it regular every day, it happens day after day. And then we're every night detoxing. It's like intermittent fasting, like you're not eating overnight. Body's cleansing itself out, and then we feel fresher and better over time.
The most complicated part to do it is to find when. It's more or less 8 hours. We just try to figure out when. Some people are more like morning people. Some people are more like night people.
Some people are all day sleep people.
That's true.
Dogs.
Well, in the van, the good side of being in a van is to be with the sunlight. Right now we are in Canada, in eastern Canada. The sunrise is around 6:30, 7. I think 7,
it's
right?
A little bit late,
7.
Yeah.
So we try to do 10, 7, something like this. To also have, because at 6 it's pitch black almost.
I'm trying to wake up at 6.
Yeah, me more 7. So she has time to do her morning routine before I wake up.
If you don't remember, I get mean when I don't do that.
That's true. You have a video about that.
Getting sleepy just thinking about it.
I used to be a night person, meaning I was going to bed late, probably midnight, 1 a.m. and waking up at 9, 10 in in a regular day. But with van life and with being with Haley, which is was definitely a morning person.
Good morning.
6 a.m. whatever happens. I started to wake up earlier and earlier, and to be honest, I feel way better. This is a journey too, to find what's your best time to go to sleep and your amount of sleep and also the quality of sleep. But you can switch one to another. I really thought I could not be a morning person. I really thought that deeply, and in fact, slowly, you can do it.
Yeah, and when you go to bed before, say, 10 o'clock, the elements that are, according to Ayurveda, that are present during that time are really heavy and slow and grounding. So it helps us to fall asleep. And then in the morning, if you wake up early around, say, 6, there's a lightness to that quality that helps us feel fresh and bright throughout the day. So even if you go to sleep at like 1 a.m. and wake up at 9, which is sort of the same amount of hours of sleep, you may feel more tired that way because then you're sleeping back into the time where it's heavy and slow kind of feeling again. We know that some people's schedule doesn't allow for that. So I think what's really key is the consistency in the time. It doesn't, if what works for you and what you can do because of your job is go to bed at midnight or later, just wake up at the same time every day and try to get a full 7 or 8 hours of sleep.
It's hard when it's like, for example, if you work in a restaurant and sometimes you do the morning shift, sometimes you do the night shift, then you go out on Friday night and you like sleep a bit later on Saturday morning, and this change, the permanent change, like you feel tired in that case. So consistency, even whatever your like your work shift is, will really help you to have a better sleep.
The other thing we wanted to talk about is eating and sleep, and when should you eat before bed, because most of us have heard you should not eat a huge meal right before bed because you can gain weight. If you go to sleep on a full stomach, you won't burn it off. It can turn to toxins. That's one reason. But also because when we eat a huge meal right before bed, it disrupts our hormone function. So maybe not just for a weight gain reason, but it will disrupt your quality of sleep. You might be producing excess stress hormone that's not going to allow you to sleep fully and deeply, and that's a problem. But if you eat an appropriate sized meal, I think dinner should be a smaller sized meal. I like to eat lunch as the largest meal of the day and dinner a bit smaller. And if you eat it a few hours before you go to sleep, you have time to digest it, and that can be really grounding and actually help you sleep through the night.
And then, of course, you already know, try to like reduce anxiety, stress, any like kind of stimuli before going to bed. Of course, helps. You know, your brain like still like function, like still like processing a lot of things right before going to sleep.
If you can try to take even just a few minutes of 15 minutes of relaxing and unwinding before bed can help you to get into that state of mind to just slip off into sleep.
Yeah.
My problem for sleep is never like I always can fall asleep immediately, but sometimes it's staying asleep that's the problem. For some people, it's harder to actually fall asleep because you've got the mind going. Yeah. But if you just take a few deep breaths, you can work on some breathing exercises or reading, listening to relaxing music, cuddling with your Pinto.
Still like we have the ritual of watching like an episode of our show before going to bed. Just one, I guess.
Yeah, and if you do it a little bit, but even if you do that and then you shut it down, put it away from your bed, and then take a few minutes to just
talk
like,
and then
settle down and do something more quiet and relaxing.
Don't go on a fight before sleeping.
Yeah, it's never good.
That's never good.
We find the time that we sleep the worst is when we're either too hot or too cold, and in a camper van, that's kind of hard to manage sometimes.
No, we're getting good now.
Yeah, we're getting good. We have these. Oh, I wish I had it over here.
What?
We have these bags that have like a sweater on it. It's a silicone bag that you can put hot water in. So those are yeah. So sometimes we need to be a little warmer at night. So those are awesome. And then
you have digestion. And
you can cuddle with your dog, stuffed animal, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want.
When you're sleeping, is your body temperature gets lower, and so I met a doctor who is a specialist in this, and he told me like it's important to prepare your body to sleep in like temperature wise. It means usually people take like a hot shower before going to sleep and a cold shower to wake up in the morning, and he said it's actually the opposite. Like if you, of course, in winter it's hard to have a cold shower, but it's important to cool down your body before you go to sleep, and then you can warm it up in the morning. That will help to have a better like quality sleep. Even like an intense practice always gonna make your temperature go super high. Yeah,
so if you're gonna do like say you didn't get a chance in your day to do your exercise and before bed you want to do something, you should do
something gentle,
something more gentle and relaxing and not overstimulating. And there's ways to do that and move your body and get a little bit of blood flow without overstimulating. We'll post something about that a little bit later in the week.
You're going to do the little yoga video about like a nice, stretchy, relaxing yoga before going to bed.
Yeah, so we'll post that on Saturday, Sleepy Time Flow. And if you're interested...
Oh, yeah. The retreat. You also have some stuff in the retreat, right?
Yeah, if you're interested in more tips about how to sleep well and stay grounded this time of year, ways of practicing self-care, we've got a 3-day retreat for you. So 3 full days of self-care online that you can do. Sometimes we find it's really hard to move out and get into the studio. That's the biggest step. So just to have it all available to you forever once you download it on your computer.
Yeah, and there's so the nightcap, this thing that you do at the end of the day.
Yes, the
and,
nightcap.
Which is the last thing you want to do before going to bed.
Yeah,
like,
so every day of this retreat, you'll have your nightcap, and it'll be a breathing exercise, a meditation, or a self-care activity that you can do to sleep better.
And it's on sale until...
It's on sale until
Sunday for only $39
Yes.
for over 5 hours of videos. Link in description if you want to know more about that.
Yeah, we'll link and we'll leave the code for you to get your discount too in our description. So until then, sleep well, sweet dreams, and stay wildly well.
Bye, guys.
Is it time to disintegrate? Is it time to celebrate?